Well, this is Margaret with Mud Run Guide. I am here with the founder of Bonefrog Challenge, Brian Carney. And Brian, thanks for taking some time to talk to us about Bonefrog.
Absolutely. I'm excited for it.
You guys have had a lot of attention recently. It seems like, although really you guys have been around for a while. So tell me a little bit about Bonefrog, about what you guys are, when you guys started, and
Yeah,
yeah.
we started in 2012.
Oh,
And
2012, sorry.
yep, no, and I was in the SEAL teams. I was in Afghanistan at the time. In my career, or my time to get out of the military was coming up at the end of that deployment. So I had already made the decision that I was going to be leaving the military after 13 years, and I really wanted to get an obstacle course racing. It was something I've been following for a while, and it's a scary thing to leave the military after 13 years, especially when I joined the military straight out of the high school. So thinking about, okay, I had high school and now I've had the military background. What am I going to do outside of that? And obstacle course racing immediately had a draw for me because I've already done so many military style courses in the military. Or I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but just so many of them. From not only the Navy SEAL style ones, but different branches of the U.S. military, other branches outside the U.S. And just, anyways, that's where I really honed what could I bring to the sport as far as obstacle courses go. And I wanted to bring that knowledge to the space. So I had the idea to start a Navy SEAL style obstacle course race. And like I said, I was still overseas at the time. So got out of the military and immediately started Bonefrog Challenge. And we started in November of 2012. And I was still in until March of 2013. And basically got out and held our first race in September of 2013. And it was a small race here in New England which now has become our premier venue, which is Berkshire East Ski Resort in Charlemont, Massachusetts, kind of off the beaten path. Not a lot of people know about it, but we've brought a lot of attention there. Now we've grown that race from about 300 racers at our first race to 2,400 racers now this spring. And we've been growing very small organically since 2012 when we really kind of got this thing going. And just this year is our first year really kind of branching out of New England and start going down the East Coast with 6 events and trying to, now that we have basically the whole recipe for what we want to do for an event, and we've grown it, or like I said, organically out of New England. That's what we've been doing now down the East Coast and bringing that same style event and same quality event to other racers.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that they've had a bad experience at your race. So, kudos to you on that. Although I have read a lot of the reviews, obviously, that both the Mud Run Guide contributors have written and some other people have written, and they talk about your obstacles a lot. So I think sometimes like people might get scared away because like that obstacle you have that has like the American flag behind it, that's huge. It's like the coolest pictures ever. It looks kind of scary. But that's not the case, right? This event is really for everyone, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we have 3 tiers, or 3 different categories for racing. And it's the sprint, which is our between 3 and 4 miles. We have our challenge, which is the 9-mile race. And then we have tier 1, which is basically doing the 9-mile followed immediately by the 3 or 4-mile race sprint. So essentially there's an option for everybody from introductory, or obstacle course race who hasn't done maybe one of these races before, has maybe tried a warrior dash or so on the 5K level, but now wants to go to, see if they can go to the next level. Our sprint is meant for that. It's kind of introductory into Bonefrog. It's not extremely taxing. It's not meant to be. Our 9 miles really are bread and butter. That is our challenge race, and that's what we built originally. When we came out with Bonefrog Challenge, that's all we offered was the challenge, and that's our full course. That has all the obstacles, kind of everything we're packing at you. And then we do, like I said, tier 1, which is after the 9 mile took off and everyone liked it, loved the challenge and was raving about it. We started, well, actually we started the sprint because people say I can't run 9 miles, or I'm very scared to run 9 miles on a ski mountain with 36 obstacles. So that's where we started the sprint. But then it actually had an adverse effect, because now everyone's coming to us saying, well, the 9 miles not hard enough. What's the next thing you guys can do? And we're like, you've got to be kidding me. Who are these people? They're crazy. So that's when we came up with the tier 1 and started, this new total idea, which is, like I said, doing the 9 mile followed by the sprint. And that has really taken off. Now a ton of people are doing that. And who knows, maybe that's going to turn into our next new distance. But we're trying to offer it to as many people as possible. We don't want to just pigeonhole one side or the other and say, this really is not, you have to be an elite athlete to do our race. No, it's supposed to be more open to more people. And at the end of the day, you go at your own pace anyways. So I always tell people that it's as hard as you make it. I mean, you can take 7 hours and walk the whole thing and not drip a bead of sweat. But for most people, it is a taxing race because they are putting their heart and soul into it.
Yeah, and so if I get to, I'm just thinking, if I'm doing your sprint and I'm newer to this whole industry, if I get to an obstacle that seems a little bit over my head, or it's just over what I can feel like I can personally do, is there a penalty that you have to do, or how do you guys handle that?
Not for every obstacle, because let's just say, like, if it's a low crawl through soft sand, there's no one out there that can't do that. So we don't have penalties for that. Mm-hmm. But for the harder obstacles, which, there's quite a few of them out there, we have penalties for all those. And those penalties vary. We don't believe in just going the straight burpee route. So some of them are jumping jacks, some of them are push-ups, some of them are air squats. We try to match the penalty for what the obstacle would be doing on you taxing-wise. So things along those lines. So if you choose not to do it, also that you have to do the penalty, and it's supposed to take about the same amount of time, if not a little bit more time than it would comparison to the person that's actually did the obstacle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. No, I think that's great, because I think that a lot of times, we get to an obstacle and we're just like, either we've got an injury or whatever, or, even some of the best athletes, if they're not racing for money, like a tier 1 or whatever, they're still like, I just had shoulder surgery. Yeah. I don't think I can do that thing. So
you can still do the race and get the whole experience and miss 1 or 2 obstacles. And I think that's with us. We have always more than 36 obstacles. You're going to get your fill on obstacles regardless. If you miss 1 or 2 because of an injury, that it's not like, well, it's not worth doing that race, because there's plenty out there.
Yeah, and you guys, speaking of kind of everything out there, you also offer a kids race, correct?
Yeah, we have a kids course. It's been kind of up and coming. We've been hosting kids courses ever since the beginning, but they've come a long ways. Let's say that. I mean, it's all of we're a small company. We've grown significantly ever since we started. However, with our early days of trying to we had good intentions of putting on a kids course. It just, it's Friday afternoon and the race is tomorrow, and we're already juggling 30,000 balls at once. And then it's like, oh my God, we totally forgot to do the kids course. And we try to whip something up. And anyways, that was back in 2013. And we've done, like I said, we've done better. But now this year alone, with doing the 6 races, from race 1 this year in the spring to even what we're doing now for a kids course, it's pretty impressive.
Excellent. Yeah. And family, I know, is really important to you guys. You are truly a family operation still. Yeah. I was talking with your marketing person before we started this, and she was saying, she's like, it's all of Brian's family. So you're still a pretty small company, right?
We are. I don't know if I put that on my business card that we're family run, but it's true. I mean, I don't know how many companies out there operate like we do, and I don't assume much, but because, like I said, we started this straight out of the military and without any backing financially. It was, you had to get any money from the military from, pension wise, you got to do 20 years. I did 13. So I left clean and dry with, I lived pretty wild life anyway. So I spent what I made. And I had this idea, but we didn't have any financial backing. So we opened up the race, had people register for it, and we just put that exact money is what we used to build our first race. And we were very nervous that it was going to be a flop because, of course, we're following Spartan Race and Tough Mudder and seeing what they're putting on. And not to, I don't want to tuck your ear off too much and waste time, but I mean, our first race, we went to the electric company and said, can we get any telephone poles? And we laugh about it now because they were like, you want telephone poles? Yeah, take these things, because they're, they can't get rid of these things. They're changing out telephone poles all the time, and they have to, spend a bunch of money to get rid of them. We're there taking them for free because we're going to make our course out of them. And then we went to the railroad yard and said, do you have any railroad supplies, like track or railroad ties? And they're like, the same thing. They almost laughed, like, you want to take our crap stock? Like, yeah, free material. And that's what we made our course out of, because low rent. But anyways, that's what we use on the Friend Military course anyways. In the military, it's all telephone poles and things like that. So that was our vision of it. Anyways, getting back on track, it's just, we built this thing from a family aspect with a lot of blood, sweat, and tears from our friends and family, and get it going. And now where it's taken us off to, yeah, we've brought on some staff and a lot of professionals in the sport who are helping to guide us and give us the attention we need to be able to take it to the next level. But there still is very much that family value to it. And, my mother is out there working on the course, selling stuff from, cousins and uncles and aunts. And anyways, that's who kind of runs Bonefrog.
So be nice to the staff, right? Because they're probably a family member.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know who you're going to run to. My mom can probably dish out more than I can.
So, you just talked about how you started off really just on your own, but you've brought on a new sponsor, HESCO, this year. What is HESCO? And sort of how did you guys get connected with them?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone outside the military would know of HESCO, because really HESCO is the company who makes all the essentially defense barriers for the United States, Britain, and Australia. And basically what that means is when you turn on the TV and look at Afghanistan, Iraq, all the bases out there, what you're seeing is HESCO product, because it's this product that is, for lack of a better term, it's a like big cage it goes down flat, but you open it up and they make them in various sizes from 10 feet wide, 10 feet tall to 4 feet. And essentially all you do is open it up and then fill it with dirt, which in Afghanistan and Iraq you have plenty of. And that's what makes the walls for the bases. And anyways, we use their product all over in multiple different countries in the SEAL teams, and being everywhere that we've operated in. And they've saved our lives. I know, countless people that these things have saved, and it's all them. So when we were reaching out and talking to them, we got in touch with HESCO, and they were very interested in being a sponsor of ours. And it was a perfect connection, because now we're helping push a product that has saved our lives, has had a big impact on, keeping me safe and my buddies safe, and bring us back home so we can, continue to live our lives if we want to, like this way. So it's really cool. I mean, hopefully we bring on a lot more sponsors in the future, but I don't think anyone's going to mean as much to us as HESCO. Because I mean, how many things out there do you depend your life on?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think that's a great. And are you going to have a HESCO obstacle coming up or something?
We're working on it. Yeah, we're working on making a really cool HESCO obstacle. So it's crawl, walk, run a little bit.
Awesome.
But their stuff is very impressive. But it's also, like I said, they have been primarily focused for military usage for obviously the last 10 years ish. But now they've come out with new products, and they're doing retention walls for like Katrina type, defense, for the retention walls and stuff. And they've gone into HESCO armor now, which is making armor plates for police, SWAT teams, that kind of stuff. And they've just kind of started branching out and doing more and more and more. And that's where, it's kind of a symbiotic relationship where we can help them push the name, because, like I said, who knows the name HESCO outside the military?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, I think a lot more now in the obstacle racing world will know who Esco is after
Absolutely,
this.
absolutely, and it's spreading the word, and it's all for a really good cause, which we feel very very passionate about it.
Excellent. Yeah. So back to you and back to Bonefrog. So what races do you have coming up, and where can people sign up and experience Bonefrog for themselves?
Our next race is in 2 weeks down in Orlando, Florida. That's going to be the farthest away from home we've been in obstacle course racing. Being that we're from New England, now we're going to be down in Orlando, Florida. We haven't ever traveled further than that. That's on September 24th at Rock On Adventures. And then after that, we have our next race back home at our Massachusetts venue where we all, where we started this whole thing at Berkshire East again. So it's going to be our fall Bonefrog. It's we've already held races there, and we've primarily done them on Armed Forces Day in the spring. Every year it changes slightly on the date, but it's always around the third week of May. So now we're the first time doing two events in 1 year there. But we think it's going to bring a big element back to it because now it's in the fall, and now it is we're doing not the same course. We're going to have new obstacles, so it's going to be completely different. And what people say, well, I already ran the spring race. How different can it be? Well, spring in New England compared to fall in New England is a different course entirely. Not to mention it is on a ski resort. You never know where you're going to get, especially that race is October 29th. So just before Halloween, we have had snow up here this time of year. Not to scare people off, but I'm just saying it's going to be a different course completely, and it's a different layout. We're going a different direction, so it's exciting for us to kind of see what that looks like too.
Well, excellent. Well, Brian, thanks so much for taking the time and talking to us. And everybody go check out Bonefrog Challenge and just see, if you've never seen the obstacle I talked about earlier, go look at their website. Go look at Mud Run Guide's website. We have the photos everywhere. I think it's the fan favorite photo.
And the reviews on Mud Run Guide are the best.
Well, thanks. Well, Brian, thanks again for taking the time. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you at a race soon.
Absolutely. And 2017.
Yeah.